issues on the ballot in Washington State next month, Referendum 88. And if it's passed, it would essentially bring affirmative action back to Washington State.
Yeah, so this was a highly controversial issue when the state banned affirmative action back in 1998. And bringing it back, you could say, is now just as controversial. So joining us this morning are two wonderful people in favor of the referendum, we should mention, April Sims and Martha Cho, co-chairs of Washington the Fairness Campaign. So thank you so much for spending your morning with us. But can you tell us, just give us the 10,000 view, what is Referendum 88 for anyone who might not know?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having us on. I'll kick it off and then see if Martha has
absolutely.
anything she wants to add. We're with Washington Fairness, which is a coalition of community organizations, labor groups, advocates, tribal leaders, businesses, both big and small, community advocates, veterans groups, all working to make sure that Initiative 1000 is upheld as law in November. This initiative would allow us to level the playing field for women, veterans, people of color, and seniors, and make sure that all Washingtonians have access and opportunities and fairness when seeking public jobs, government contracts, and applying to public colleges and universities.
And the legislature already passed the initiative, but Referendum 88, correct me if I'm wrong, this is when the voters get to say if or not that goes into effect.
That's right. So for the first time in 20 years, we can join states like Alabama and Mississippi, who are ahead of us. We like to pride ourselves on being the nation's leaders, but they're actually ahead of us by giving tools to level the playing field. So everybody believes in fairness and opportunity. So let me just explain simply how it works. If you're applying for a public university, a government job, a government contract, and you're a woman, you're an underrepresented minority, you're a veteran, you're a senior, you're a small business owner, you can have those factors considered in addition to all your other qualifications to be selected. I don't think anybody could look at the world today and believe that we're all equal or there's not the need for some kind of consideration to close the gap. We read this morning that we have the highest median income in the country at $190,000 Sammamish. But if you're a black family household, your average income is $46,000. Wow. And so I-1000 gives us all the tools to fix that for the first time in 20 years.
Okay, I was going to say, what about some people who say, hey, we did it right in 1998? What do you say to them?
Well, I think you just have to be honest about looking around and saying, we see this incredible disparity. 42 other states have done it right. It's a chance for us to step up and do the right thing. And again, it's without quotas, it's without allowing lesser qualified people to be selected, but it's really giving us a tool to get the greatest diversity that we have. King TV, other corporations believe in diversity. They recruit, they hire. Public sector is not allowed to do that. That's illegal today. So it's really just recognizing how important diversity is and giving the government tools to do that.
So April, for people, we only have about 30 seconds left, I'm so sorry, but for people who this just strikes them in a way, it says, wait a minute, now I'm not going to get my fair opportunity. What sort of limits are in place, if any, that would prevent this from being what some people might be scared of?
Well, it's written into the initiative in 3 different places that there are no quotas. There are no quotas. It's included in the ballot title, which was written by the Attorney General's office. So Bob Ferguson and his team have completely reviewed this initiative and have proven that there are no quotas. So for folks who are wondering if this is the right thing to do, I would just challenge them and say this law is consistent with who we are as Washingtonians and the values that we hold dear. It puts us on par with other states like Idaho, Mississippi, and Alabama in terms of restoring fairness and opportunity for all Washingtonians.
All right.
And we want to mention there is a public forum, so if anyone has any questions or they want to sort these things out, can you tell us about that?
Tomorrow night, Bellevue College at the Forum, 6 o'clock, so learn more. And remember to check the Approve I-1000 box when you see Referendum 88.
And in the interest of journalistic fairness, we have reached out to groups who are against this, and we're going to try to get them on later this week. But Martha and April, we thank you guys for coming on today here.
Thank
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.